Okay, good evening all, and welcome to the July 21st, 2021 City Council meeting. I have a statement to make before I get really started. I'm in charge of this meeting, and it's my opinion that we need to get the business of the city done. So therefore, I'm not going to take any public comment until section 12, and you're free to have any comments or questions or whatever you want to say. That's your time. Then we'll call the meeting to order. And you want to make a motion to excuse Mayor Burzell?
Yeah. I move to make a motion to excuse Mayor Tim Burzell from the Deer Park City Council meeting of July 21st, 2021.
Okay.
Second.
The motion's been made and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved. I'm getting shaky. Okay. Next is council members. There's first me. I'm Dee Cragen, Mayor Pro Tem. And Mary Bab, you want to say aye?
Hello. That's me.
Okay, Richie Speck?
Yep. That's me.
I know. Caleb Staff, I was thinking of his name. And Ron Schultz. And City Services Director, Roger Krieger, and Clerk Treasurer, Betty Cragen. Next on the agenda is invocation, and it's done by David Staff. We all rise and standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Heavenly Father, we realize that you ordained civil government, and you told us in Jeremiah to pray for the good of the city. You told us in the New Testament repeatedly to pray for those in authority over us. And so we're doing that right now. And we thank you for the privilege of doing that publicly. And Father, I ask you to bless these leaders, both elected and employed, who are here to do their best for the good of all of us here in the city, anybody around the city. I ask you to give them a clear, unified vision and the ability to work together, coming from all their different life experiences, different perspectives, different philosophies, that they might be able to do the best for all of us. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Next, before we go for approval of the agenda, I have a change that we made. Item 6C was moved down to ordinances under 8A.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? Now's your chance.
We're good.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, it passes. Okay. Next is approval of July 7th, 2021 regular council meeting minutes.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, now we're down to new business. First one is change order number 5 with Crawford and Colville Roundabout and North Carlo reconstruction. Roger, would you address that?
Sure. There's a couple of different memos inside there that show you from Interstate and from La Riviera, the contractor, in regards to this project. The net effect of this change order is basically adding contract days but no money due to the sequencing they had to do from a standpoint of getting concrete delivered to the site. Not being a large concrete receiver like some of the major contractors are, they had to take reduced amounts or reduced loads, 10 yards a day, a couple days, 20 yards a couple days. So it took a little bit longer, and this next portion of the project probably will be the same thing. But anyway, so this is a change order at zero cost. We've got approval from DOT for it. And so we would like your approval on this. And timing is such that their contract expires before our next council meeting, and so keeping this concurrent with that is why we have it here before you tonight. Questions?
Does you have a motion to approve, then you discuss? I'm sorry.
I make a motion to approve change order number 5 for Crawford Colville Roundabout and North Colville reconstruction.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Ayes have it. Next is B, bid award 2021 pavement preservation with Shamrock Paving Incorporated. I'd like a motion to approve before we discuss.
Make a motion to approve bid award 2021 pavement preservation from Shamrock Paving Incorporated.
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and second. Now, any questions?
So I noticed that this one is, like, what was it, 28% above what was projected? Is that going to be like a continuing trend, or is that just because of inflation, or limited supply and demand, or what's driving that, do you know?
You want that, Brad? You want me to?
I can't, I mean, I think some of it is rising fuel costs. Their mobilization fees were higher than, we figured. The price of oil in general to make the asphalt. So I have a feeling that we could see it as a trend to go up, but I mean, you never know. It depends on what the market does.
Yeah.
I mean, if construction costs are high right now, and if next year it could be on a trend down. So it's just such a moving target. It's
Yeah, and what we do with these is each year after this, we recalibrate our spreadsheet that will group the projects and try and adjust. So we did that last year and got to the list we have now, and it inflated still more. And so it's a bit of a moving target. The net effect is this year we're a little bit under what we budgeted, but you should have this budget in the future. We could have a situation where we cut a project off, or as these prices go up, we still use that 300,000 roughly as our target. So it tends to drive projects off the list, and the time to get there gets longer every year anyway. We may need to think about trying to boost the transfer from the general fund to the streets to help, so we don't keep going backwards. But that's kind of what happens with those.
Right. Okay. I'll make sure we're keeping up on the roads.
Yeah. And these are, it's interesting, two of them are some of the first ones ever done was South and Park, and so we're back to the list. We've been doing this for, I don't want to say
15 years?
Yeah, 18 years, something like that. And so they're starting to rotate back up through the process. And TIB was supposed to be out last year to reevaluate all of our streets, but they didn't go out and do that anything. So this year they're supposed to do it. So we'll see how they recalibrate again. But
Okay.
When was the last time we boosted that transfer from general to roads? In the last significant change?
3 years ago, maybe. It went from 300 to 350.
Right.
4 years ago, something
Probably
like
about
that.
more like four.
Could have been, yeah. They all string together, but in that range.
That makes sense that we would need to do that.
Yeah, it just, well, and Brad's right. I mean, the price of fuel cost, we lucked out on our big projects because they were bid before the prices went up. So we weren't hit by that, but even those prices were higher than they had been, higher than anticipated. But the competitiveness of 5 and 6 and 7 bidders helped. Where this is, there's only 3 players in this, and so it makes it tougher.
Thank you, Roger.
Anything else? Hearing none? All those in favor?
Aye.
All the, excuse me, I have to back up. You need to make the motion. We did.
Make a motion.
Yeah, we got it. I'm okay, folks. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. Okay. Gather myself here. Next, we have an ordinance 2021-1001, zoning code ordinance, revision section 18.70.050 and 18.70.100, critical area regulations. And we'll move this on to the second reading. This is the first reading.
And if you have questions on this in the interviewing person, please call, because there's a lot of stuff here.
Yeah, I do have questions. I'm going to be
Yeah.
reaching out to you.
I did that, and he's full of knowledge, and you understand everything when he gets through, so it's great.
Yep.
Okay, we move on to the consent agenda. We have basically one item, is approval of vouchers, claim checks number 39533 through 39575, including EFT debits in the amount of $2,330,863.54 for the first half of July 2021.
Motion to approve the voucher claim checks?
Second.
Any discussion?
No questions for me.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Ayes have it. Next is recorded departments. Roger, you want to go first?
Just, I guess, report on project-wise, the Crawford and Colville project is moving along. The roundabout is functioning, the parts that are open, great. Right now, the Vista is in there. They're supposed to be done today and maybe tomorrow. As we've done this, they've determined that some of their steel gas line is too high up in the road elevation. So they've been there since Monday, going through lowering their stuff, which makes it tough for the contractor to do more of his stuff. So I'm not going to tell you there won't be another change over time based on Avista being in the way, but they're making progress. The Cedar Road project, if you go out there, there's a traffic signal light that you can, if you honor the reds and the greens, you can go up to about the middle of the airport project is what it's open to. They're in the first portion of the first phase, we call it. They have curbing in, sidewalks in, all the road work's basically done, except they got to bring gravel back in. They have a pavement date of early August to pave the first lift of asphalt. They'll do it in 2 different lifts. And then the rest of the project, the deep sewer is still underway. It is slow at 19, 20 feet deep in the ground. But they're making progress with no real major hiccups with the infrastructure they have to support and water mains and so forth, so that's been good. And then the water tank project is steel's being welded together at the base of it. If you drive by, you can kind of see the bowl of the tank at ground level. They'll build the portions of the elevated tank up to the roof structure, and then they'll raise it up and then put it in on top. May have some coating on it this fall. It's really weather dependent. So far they've been lucky, really fortunate with the hot weather. That's really helped them. But we'll just see how the fall comes along and how that project goes. Working on lots of subdivision stuff still. Planning Commission's held public hearings last week on a subdivision across the street from the wastewater lagoon on 6th Street. I expect them to probably act on that next meeting or maybe the meeting after. And some short plats, and so there's still lots of building going on around us as we speak. So, any questions?
Thank you. Brad, what have you got for us?
Going to be busy we're getting ready for Settlers Weekend this weekend. We were really busy with the setup for that. And we put in some new water lines to the business at 29 North Main. So if you guys see a ditch or a gravel patch across the street that should be getting patched in a week or so, that's what we were doing there. We had to put in fire suppression and the domestic water service for the apartments that are going in upstairs and the business downstairs. So
I was curious what that equipment was doing down there.
I kind of figured people would see the gravel patch across the road and wonder what the heck we were doing. So, yep, that's where we were at. So, we should be all ready for Settlers, everything ready to go. And sorry about how the grass looks in the parks.
Well,
My fault.
Don't have
My fault.
Yeah, don't have water, don't have green grass. So we're doing the best we can.
Okay.
Can I add to? I forgot. I guess for an update, because last week it was talked about the Swinyard well.
Mhm.
So that one is the pump arrived Monday morning. The rest of the shafting, the rest of the column piping and so forth, that is supposed to start at 7 o'clock going back in tomorrow. we'll hope to have some water flowing out of it by early afternoon. Then we have to full bunch, take a test, run to the town, get a bacteria test on it and stuff before it goes online. But I mean, our hope is we'd have that online servicing by Friday. So things are moving with that again too. So
But you can only do what you can do.
yeah, it's water-wise. It's interesting. I don't know that. I know we cut back. The school cut back. You know, generally, if people did, have been great. It's going to help us. We see our tanks drop 20-some feet during the night every day, and then by 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, they're back full, and you can see the cycle of when people are watering and so forth. The nighttime water use is what's the biggest draw, obviously. But we've made it through that, and let's hope we don't have that problem again.
I hope so too. It's a big headache for you.
Yeah.
Mr. Tortorelli, would you like to share something with us?
I was just out at Cedar Road, looking real good. It's going to be one of the premier industrial parks in all of Spokane County. And Penny and I were working on a report. The original project started 9 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And so they have EDA has a requirement that you have a report at the end of the 9 years. It will look really good. So I did approach EDA about possibly using some of the excess money to redo Airport Road, and they said, "You guys have done enough already." Well, you know, you hate to leave money on the table.
Oh, yeah, that's kind of silly. Thank you. Yeah, I have to explain, Daryl Schultz is not here this evening. He's working at the airport, keeping our planes in the air.
I had a question for Joe, if I could.
You had a question for Daryl?
For Joe.
Oh.
Okay. Joe, I appreciated your report, and this is likely a dumb question, and I understand the confidentiality of not saying who you're talking to. That's great. I'm assuming some of those are repeat contacts, and
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. One of my primary goals is, of course, a motel facility, a lodging facility here. Right? So, been approaching all of the national franchises. We want to get a national franchise rather than an independent, but I'm not ruling them out. So.
Sure.
And it takes multiple contacts.
Okay, I was assuming so, but I was just sitting there thinking, I don't actually know how he's going about this. I was curious.
Yeah. It's a process.
Is there anything
Actually,
from the? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Like I said in my report, is that I'm really waiting for the Canadian border to open up, because then we'll have all those Canadians, and of course, opportunities for. And a lot of the motel franchise people said, you know, it's all a matter of traffic.
No, that's great. My next question was, if you had anything that some of those businesses were asking for from a policy or council standpoint that we could be considering.
Not that I have nothing in particular right now. I'm sure once we get somebody that really shopping around for the property, they'll probably come up with something.
Okay. Thanks. Appreciate it.
But that's Roger's problem.
Thank you. Next, we move on to report of officers. Mary, would you like to share?
I just want to say that, like you said, that the Settlers Parade is this Saturday. The committee has worked hard all year, you know, and this is our 100th year.
Yes.
Consistent. And they're having an ice cream social tomorrow night at 6 at Mix Park. And I'd like to have everybody come that can help them, and tell your friends and neighbors so they can come down and help support this special parade this year. Thank you.
Well, I wanted to say thank you to the Chamber of Commerce for hosting the candidate forum yesterday. They did a fantastic job of preparing questions and making sure it was random and fair for all of us. And there was good food too. So very much appreciated the Chamber putting that together for us and having that opportunity to speak.
Thank you.
Wanted to invite everyone. I, along with various local organizations and businesses, are planning a second town hall debate forum to have the candidates have the opportunity to share their views, be asked questions by the public, and ask each other some questions, hopefully. So everyone's invited. That's going to be August 19th at 7 p.m. at the Picket Fence, sponsored by NAC Boat Docks, First Baptist Church, Vine Community, the Gazette, the Tribune, just a boatload of folks all working together to help people find out who they could vote for and why they might want to do so. We'll be inviting some special guests as well from other political entities that we're under. We'll see who shows up and wants to speak to us for a few minutes, but everybody's invited to join us for that.
Thank you. Mr. Schultz?
Yes, I've got something. So on August 3rd, from 5:30 in the evening to 8:30, we're going to have the Night Out Against Crime. That's going to be held at the Deer Park Sports Complex over by the high school. In attendance, we have slated to attend the Spokane County Sheriff's Chaplain. He will open up the evening with a prayer for law enforcement and for the community. Sheriff Ozzie Knezovich is planning to attend, as well as Under Sheriff Kittlestead. We'll have the Neighborhood Watch Coordinator. She will be speaking about crime prevention and about setting up Neighborhood Watch programs throughout our community, and a possible appearance by McGruff the Crime Dog. I know, isn't it awesome?
I'm looking forward to
I know. Air One, the sheriff's helicopter is planning to attend. They're going to at least do a flyover. Hopefully, they will do a landing if it's feasible. So that's something the kids are going to love. The Washington State Patrol are going to be in attendance. They're going to be having handouts for the children. The U.S. Border Patrol will be there. Deer Park Scope will be there. Deer Park Scope has a program that you can have a photograph taken of your child, as well as fingerprints that the parents can hold in case, and heaven forbid, but a kidnapping, that you can provide the fingerprints and the photo of the child to help law enforcement find your child. So that's a very important thing if you have small children, to have that done as a precaution if that horrible event would ever happen. We also have a face painter that said he's excited to come. Another great thing for kids. I know. Also, we are working, we don't know if these are going to be in attendance or not, but working and trying to get them, is a member from the Center for Exploited and Missing Children, the Department of Natural Resources, Fish and Wildlife, the Fire Department, and that's what we've got going. So again, that is August 3rd, 5:30 to 8:30 at the Deer Park Sports Complex over by the high school. This is to be an evening about law enforcement, and it has been requested that at this event there be no political campaigning. Just come out, have a good time, enjoy, speak to local law enforcement. Various agencies will be there. Be a great time for the children. Thank you.
Thank you. It sounds like a lot of fun. As for me, thank you for putting up with me this evening. Wish I could do it more often, then I would be more relaxed. But we have a good mayor. He's always here. Anyway, next is interested citizens. Now it's your turn. If anybody has anything they would like to speak on. Rachel?
So, a few months ago, my friend woke up to jackhammers. She is the most affected house right there at the four-way. She was given no notice at all about the construction starting, so immediately from the get-go she's angry. She has no place to park. She's constantly locked in, or she doesn't know if she leaves, if she can get back in. Her driveway was completely destroyed, so she's parking in a dirt section next to her house. My question is there a way the city can better communicate with her and other people affected by projects like this? She's got little kids. She's constantly in and out. And the only communication she gets, aside from when I know Roger facilitated some communication with the construction, is when she physically walks out there and says, hey, can you tell me what's going on today? And I just think that's a little, cumbersome. It's been months and she's tired. So going forward with new projects, there should be something, at least giving the people a heads up. And if there's anything we can do for her in the meantime, since it's still going on, she's having to deal with this almost every day. So.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you for the time. I realize the chamber just got complimented. I actually want to do the reverse, and I want to criticize them. I've been in this community for 7 years now. I've heard a lot of stuff, a lot of comments, and I have to really express my disappointment. I understand the Chamber of Commerce is an application group for business. Got it. But when you have as many candidates as you have now running, and you go hold your meeting, I understand you have monthly meetings and that's your business, but when you have the candidates come to your meeting in a city outside of the city limits where people are desperate and hungry to get answers and communicate with their government, I really think it's kind of shameful. So I would hope the chamber would do some self-reflection. I can tell you some of my contacts that are all over the Inland Northwest, they've had some interesting comments. They basically said, had the Deer Park Chamber of Commerce been a little bit more thoughtful, they should have invited the public. So what I'm asking for, I know Mr. Staff said he's doing one in August. I just want to apologize for the candidates. 3 of you are going home. You haven't been able to talk to your people like you should have been. And I feel bad for the citizens. So what I hope is that in October, not in August, you have a forum. Maybe it would have to be through the Tribune. I have no affiliation with them. It's just because that's a little bit compromised. And I would like it to be at 7 o'clock or sometime where people are off work on a weekday where they can communicate in a secular, nonpartisan, non-political area. Because, as we all know, this country's had some political disruption lately, and in a community like this, a lot of fear, a lot of misinformation is out there, and it's just not helping. So I want people to have a chance. The disenfranchised, the regular people who could not show up at noon on a weekday in a different city. I want them to see their council members. So I hope you can work on that in October, after summer vacation and close to the election. It'll give people time to prepare their campaign, and I think it would just be a great idea for Deer Park. And then second, real quick, if you're an active council member, I'm not talking about someone running for election, you have the right to endorse any candidate you want. You have the right to prep them. You have the right to support them. But if you are planning an event, like a forum, you cannot ask any questions and you cannot really be involved in it. I'll tell you why. Because you set yourself up for a lot of ethical problems and possibly legal problems. So I would just say, have a separate group, get involved in this. Don't set yourself up for a possible incident. I've just seen it before. It's not worth the turmoil. So that's all I ask. So the chamber, I would just please reflect on your community here. There's a lot of people in the comments I've seen on social that were really disappointed. They feel like they were left in the dark. It wasn't streamed, and they're already hungry for information. So if you know anybody on the chamber, let them know that, please. I hate to be negative, but I thought it was important to say. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Anybody else? Oh, come on, somebody must have something. No, I guess not. What? Who?
Hazel?
Oh, I didn't even see you.
Oh, yeah, I was just having a question for Ron. On the Night Out for Crime, have you thought about live music?
Well,
Because that is an option, and I can help you
Okay.
with that. So, not just me playing, I mean, I do.
yeah, I have to reach out to the organizers on
Sure.
that. So, because I was just kind of like the
Sure,
message guy. So,
but that's who I reached out to.
yeah. So
Yeah, so-
I'll reach out to the organizers and find out for you.
Okay, anybody else? Seeing none, our next item is adjournment. Let's go.